What's going on, y'all? My name is Enoch. I'm here to inspire, motivate, and encourage you to be the best version of you that you could possibly be. I know that ain't an easy task, but let's go. Welcome back to Divine Motivation Podcast. I really appreciate you tuning in. I do not take your time for granted. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching if you're watching. Follow the Instagram, Divine Motivation _. Follow the YouTube, Divine Motivation Podcast. Subscribe, like, share. If you want to send this to somebody, sure, why not? It won't hurt you. Let's get into it. Okay, so let me tell you my process when it comes to like just anything or just doing a podcast or whatever, or doing my videos on Instagram that I do every single day. Motivation. Go get your motivation. So, like when it comes to the podcast, I literally just come, right? And I sit down. I take a second. What do I want to talk about? And then I'll talk about it. Or like on my phone, on my notes, I'll literally throughout the day, something will pop in my head and I'll write it down on my notes. Right? And I'm like, that's interesting. So today I sat down, I was like, let me look at my notes. So I literally went to my notes and I saw this. I don't remember why I wrote this, but it says, the caterpillar has to climb the tree. And the way my mind works, it went back to why. I guess this is why I wrote it down, because my mind just started going. I'm like, man, that's deep. That's deep. So right now we in October. And throughout the year, I was doing like quarterly check-ins with your New Year's resolution. How's that going for everyone? We'll talk more about that next episode. All right, so the caterpillar has to climb the tree. Now, we know the story about caterpillar. Ooh, why is that word so hard to say today? We know the story about caterpillars, right? And we always hear, these motivational stories about, the the caterpillar has to go into a cocoon and it turns into this beautiful thing. And while it's in the cocoon, there's so much things going on. There's so much breaking and that it has to go through so that it can blossom into this beautiful thing. And in your life, you're going to go through some things and you're going to blossom. As long as you just stay in that cocoon, you stay in that moment, you push through it, you'll make it through. Right? We hear that so much. And I think it just came to my mind like, okay, yes, on that tree, it's hanging and it's in that cocoon. Then I was like, we forget about the process before that. The little worm or whatever, caterpillar, has to look at this huge tree and engage in climbing that tree to get to the spot that it has to make this transformation. And I never really heard that really talked about. And I'm like, well, let me take a dive at it and really dissect it. Like, yo, the caterpillar does not go through the transformation or the changes if it never goes to that tree and climb it. And that's a steep climb. And sometimes it's a long climb. And there's so many things that can attack that caterpillar on the way up. So I'm like, man, that's deep. Because, yeah, we like, yo, I want these changes. I want to do what I got to do to get to these changes. But before you get to that place of change, there's some work that needs to be done. There's some internal investigations. There's some real effort that needs to be done before you get to that place and you realize, like, oh, wow. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I never really looked up the caterpillar. And I wonder the work that it had to take to climb up that tree. I wonder while it's in that cocoon and those things are going, if that energy is what's kind of catapulting all the changes that's going on in the cocoon. Because before it gets to the the cocoon, it climbs up that tree. And I'm like, it takes some work to climb up that tree. So it's almost like maybe the tree is the work to climb up the tree is the thing that's actually turning that caterpillar into something beautiful. And we can relate that to anything that goes on in our life. All the things we had to go through to get to a certain place. And then you can look back and be like, man, look at what I went through. Look at what I've been through. And look at where I'm at now. It was work. It was an uphill climb. It was a struggle. I was scared to turn around and look back because it was like I'm so far gone now. There is no turning back. Looking at those moments, and then when you get into a place where it's like, okay, I got through that. Now let's get to the real work. Let's finish this thing. Let's complete the process. Whatever it is you're going for. Like, I wonder if that's what's motivating the caterpillar to crawl up that tree, is knowing like, yo, if I can just make it up this tree, if I could just make it past all these, because I'm pretty sure there's birds or other bugs, whatever, that can grab this caterpillar, is in a very, ooh, that's good. It's in a very vulnerable place, climbing up that tree. There's so many things that can happen while it's climbing up that tree. And then it makes it there. And I think once you make it there, it's like, yo, there is no turning back now. I have to get better. I have no choice. What I went through strengthened me. So I can't, even if I wanted to go back, I can't. Because I'm built different now. I have a different kind of strength. There's something that pushed me towards greater. So for me to turn back now, it's like, I can't. The thought of it doesn't even make sense to you. So I'm like, wow. Like, even if that's not true how it works with caterpillars, it's like, man, you can use that in your own life. Like, man, the caterpillar wanted something different. Because if it stayed on the ground, I'm pretty sure it can't make a cocoon on the ground. I've never seen it. But it knew like, yo, I have to climb this tree. If that thing that I want is up there, I'm going to have to climb this tree to get it. There's no way around it. And while I'm climbing this tree, I may get very vulnerable. There may be some things that I learn about myself while I'm climbing that tree. Like, ooh, I didn't even know I had that insecurity there. Ooh, I didn't even know I lack faith there. Ooh, I didn't know that was even a struggle for me. And then when you accumulate all that into, when you get to that cocoon, now you in there just working it out, working things through. Like, oh, I understand that now. I know why I had to go through that. I know why that happened. And then you can turn out and come out to something beautiful. Man, I don't know how all of that came into my mind about just the caterpillar, but that's just what it is. So, yo, climb that tree. Get to that spot and become beautiful. That's the episode this week. I appreciate you tuning in. Remember, like, subscribe, share. And let's do this again next week. Appreciate y'all.